I mean, she is entirely right, and I'm not even a little bit sorry. But that was really great, Mark. I now feel incredibly intimidated. So I'm Aaron, like it says just there, and I've been introduced. The Evans does not go with this voice. I am incredibly aware. I'm sorry. So this is me and you, and it's the most incoherent title I could think of. So let's go. So I'm originally from Oxford, as the voice might tell you. I'm probably a man, and I'm incredibly white to go with it, which means life has been fairly straightforward and easy for me. I'm not going to lie. Now, alongside that, I own 2 homes. I am somehow the world's laziest student currently. If you wonder how those 2 things could possibly equate, I don't blame you. That's an excellent question. Many years ago, I worked in a very different field than being a student. I worked in the oil industry, which is fans everywhere, I can tell. It's really great if you want to travel the world on someone else's dime, if you really hate penguins just a little bit to make their lives harder, or anything else that could be just a little bit, yeah. Further things about me, as soon as I see a priority seat, I dive on it. They're really convenient, they're close to the door, no one's ever in them, they're fantastic. To make things a little worse, I have ghosted my way out of 2 relationships. I heard a groan. If you don't know what that means, yeah. So in that first minute, I hope you've got a little opinion in your head that is possibly prick. That's okay. That was kind of my aim. I did selectively tell you some things, and you might wonder why I selectively told you just some bad things. It's because context is really important for a lot of what we do as humans and the way we interact with each other on a very regular basis. Why would I want you to believe I'm a prick? Because things happen to people that aren't super convenient. I did used to work in the oil industry, and I went to South America and got quite ill. Then I got a little bit disabled, and there's loads of words up there about a condition which are just no fun. It stands for chronic fatigue syndrome, and ME, which is longer words that I don't know how to pronounce. Loads of things. It basically just means you're really bad at being a human. You're a little bit more tired than you should be for breathing. Eventually it gets better, and if you really hate penguins, that's wrong. It has nothing to do with that. That's just a red herring. So now I'm going to give some context to why you might ghost a human being, and I'm going to say it's not great. If you don't know what it means, ask your children. But it's really hard to explain to another human being that you're so tired that you can't eat. You can barely sleep, you're so tired. And it's really hard to be vulnerable to another human being to explain the thing that you're not comfortable dealing with yourself. And that can be really hard. And I've put in just too much time here, clearly. Okay, so going back, it's that context thing all over again. I mean, it's still not a great thing to do, but you might understand a little bit more why I did such a thing, or why I might throw myself those priority seats if I'm really tired and I am honestly disabled, and they're kind of there for me. You just wouldn't necessarily guess. But why am I harping on about this at you? You probably don't need a life story of why my life sucks. It doesn't, it's fine, as we commented in the first minute, but it's really important for everyone, because everyone has little things going on in their daily lives that make things more difficult, make things more challenging, and it can feel like an uphill struggle. There's loads of stuff going on in everyone's life. You've got your finances, you've got your job, you've got your family, you've got your own health, and that really adds up. And it can change the way you're behaving to other people. You could be snappy, you could be short, you could be less helpful than you possibly could be on a very regular basis. But it's really hard to make room for that in other people as well. Because although you might have things going on, so do they, and everyone does. And it's really hard in this busy world to appreciate that in other people and yourself. Because it's okay to feel both. It might feel like occasionally that someone's really just trying to make your life more difficult. They're trying to inconvenience you for the sake of it. But they're not. They're just for themselves, because they're focusing on, I have these problems, and they're just trying to get through it the same as you are each and every day, the same as I am. And it's really hard to put yourself in their shoes, to go, yeah, I do remember that his boss was breathing down his neck, or, yeah, her mum is ill, and that probably does weigh heavily on her. They might just be being less social, they might be being a bit short with you, they might be trying less hard at work. Obviously, there are limits to this. If someone has murdered another person, there are circumstances that probably don't mitigate that. If they're being a genuine arse, it might not be because things have been a little bit tough. They might honestly be horrible. But Why does it matter? Because, as I've said repeatedly now, it is affecting everyone all the time, and it's really hard to make those allowances for other humans. We have so much going on. We have so much ability to talk to one another that if we don't get a message within an hour, we're wondering what they're doing. We're asking why, which is ridiculous, because everyone's juggling so much, because you have responsibilities that can now follow you, and that makes it even harder, because if you've ignored a thing, they're just going to send you a message 2 hours later after you finish work, and you've just got to ignore it. And that's okay. You can ignore it, because you can recognize both sides of it. You can take a breath, you can be chill, and you can be okay with both people having things going on, and just try and be a little bit nicer to those around you, and accept that maybe sometimes you are just the arse. Thank you.